The regular monthly real estate housing data for August 2022 was released at the end of September, just a few days before Hurricane Ian left a very unwelcome calling card across the state of Florida. So this month will be different than a typical monthly real estate update. There are a few late summer trends from the August data that are worth mentioning. And from there, I'll share some early thoughts about Southwest Florida's housing market going forward. For that, there are a lot of unknowns. That's what we'll talk about in today's episode, so let's get into it. Thank you for checking in on the channel. I'm Terry Pasquarelli with MVP Realty. It is difficult to focus on an August 2022 Naples, Florida real estate update when so much has happened in the area and across the state of Florida in the last few days of September, just as last month's data was ready to share. So please bear with me, and I'll try to bridge from what we learned from the August 2022 data and consider where we are today. I'll share some of the challenges that are rising up in the early weeks after this hurricane. Stay with me until the end of this episode because I'll also share why there's a feeling of resilience and hope for Southwest Florida's future. To start, here's the baseline situation as of August. Heading into August, we had experienced a few months of increasing real estate inventory for sale, along with high demand for home purchases in Southwest Florida, and home prices that were continuing to rise, although not as quickly as earlier in the year. During August, there were several things that indicate the greater Naples, Florida real estate market is moving to the more balanced market between sellers and buyers that we've been discussing the past few months. Both inventory and days on the market for active listings are increased. Overall inventory for homes for sale increased over 70% in August 2022 compared to August last year. Days on the market went up 35% and averaged 31 days. Of the homes on the market during August, 36% of them experienced a price decrease before they went under contract. On the other hand, while overall sales in August were fewer than in August of last year, the closed sales rate closed by 6% over this July's closed sales. And pending sales in August increased nearly 20% compared to July. August is usually a slower month than July, but not this year. Another signal of underlying strength of the Southwest Florida housing market is that the overall median close price continued to rise in August, up nearly 31% to $575,000 compared to $440,000 in August of 2021. There were approximately 100 homes and condominiums in the entry price level range, not many, and with the expectation that our median close price could stay high as long as the high end of the market continues to stay active. Rental units have been challenging to find, and rents had been going high and higher before the hurricane. That's all a backdrop to the awful storm, Hurricane Ian, that we experienced in Florida at the end of September. Where do we go from here? That's difficult to know in great detail. Here are a few early thoughts about what is ahead. There are closings that were scheduled to take place at the end of September that have been delayed into October, and perhaps some that are going to be delayed quite a bit longer. When a hurricane cone of uncertainty is issued by weather authorities, it generally means that home closings are stopped and insurance policies can't be written until the storm is over. The physical status of the properties or any damage after a hurricane is a significant factor that the parties have to find out about, so this makes sense. Another cause of delays is that when there's widespread disruption of internet, Wi-Fi, cellular phone service, and power in many hard-hit geographies, like we experienced here, and things like cars have been totaled or washed away, a number of people can't get to work. People are focused on finding a temporary home or getting their power back and dealing with those basic necessities. Well, closing companies, lenders, and insurance companies have stepped up incredibly in the days after this storm, trying to complete closings where all the necessary information is available and properties weren't impacted by the hurricane. In a number of situations, Getting the necessary information needed to close will take longer than usual given the severity of this storm. In a number of areas, in some large areas, there are going to be requirements for re-inspections before scheduling closings. Inspections will take time to schedule with a qualified home inspector. And after that, inspection findings may result in repairs and renovations being required to make a property suitable for completion of a sale. That too will take time and take labor and building materials that are in high demand, and that's likely to be even more complicated after a hurricane of this strength. The insurability of some properties is going to be a challenge. This may lead to a focus in some areas on cash sales, perhaps by investors who can come in after a cash purchase to renovate a property, and then after it's repaired or restored, it will be sold to its subsequent homeowner. Now, if you can call it good news, the good news in the process of real estate is that Florida real estate contracts anticipate that unexpected things can happen, and those contracts provide guidance to sellers and buyers about how to move forward. Our amazing, dedicated title company teams and real estate attorneys form a reassuring team who are working hard with buyers and sellers to figure out those individual situations. Layering onto all of this is that rental property available has been challenging coming off the pandemic, and as we mentioned, rental prices have increased. Now, displaced current residents are looking for rental homes to live in while they clean up or rebuild, or as they literally start over, looking for a different home to purchase following the impacts of the storm. There is a lot of serious evaluation that needs to be done in those areas. There is a lot of uncertainty for some people and their situations for the next 6 months or the next year plus. There's also a lot of resilience and dedication to help make our area better and help it get back quickly to a level of normalcy. And why is there reason to hope? Well, we often think first about Southwest Florida as a tourism community, and it is, yet it's also the full-time home to many people. People who reflect that this is their paradise and they don't want to leave the area. They're determined to clean up and rebuild. Southwest Florida has changed over the years, in addition to being a great place to visit. More and more people, and not only retirees, have decided that this is a terrific place to live full-time. We can see that businesses and the general area are busier even when we're not in season. And we can look at how we're continuing to build schools across the area. In Collier County, where Naples is located, they've just completed building the 9th large high school, and there are over 30 elementary schools and 10 middle schools, as well as several special focus schools in the county's public school system. Add to that Lee County and Charlotte County schools, it lets us know that our population is growing. And I expect that as we put the pieces back together and help those who do need a lot of help right now, that this will continue to be a terrific area of the country to live. We've seen a number of businesses in the downtown Naples area that reopened within a week of this storm, and more businesses have opened in the downtown area and further inland to serve their neighbors. We see people who have resiliency and hope. This is a community that isn't giving up hope even after possibly the worst hurricane to hit Southwest Florida in modern times. We can't gloss over the destruction that's happened close to our coastlines and our beaches. It's horrible. People are suffering, and the communities here are rallying to try to find ways to help locally. But there are also a number of communities that are further from the coast, and while some had power outages or lack of data connectivity, they have diligently cleaned up and their businesses are reopened. Our downtown in Naples, along with local shopping centers, malls, and other areas not as close to the coast, are still here, and many will be open, most of them will be open, by the time of our winter season. As I mentioned, they've already started, and in just over 2 weeks since the hurricane, it's pretty incredible and encouraging to see the progress being made across Southwest Florida. If you have an opportunity, perhaps because you live nearby or will be coming back to Southwest Florida in the weeks and months ahead, try to stop by a local business. Your efforts keep hardworking people at their jobs. And if you can donate, whether it's food, money, or clothing, whatever it might be, that's a big deal to the people of Southwest Florida right now. There are verified organizations such as the Red Cross and numerous churches who are organizing those donations. And if you're not here right now, please send your most positive thoughts and prayers to the people of Southwest Florida. Housing is a critical component of putting the pieces back together for everyone in Southwest Florida. We have many communities that are open for resale and new construction. Now, we'll be back with another market update report soon, and we'll share how we're doing in the Southwest Florida housing market after the hurricane. This is a day-by-day, project-by-project process, so stay with us, and thank you for all of your positive thoughts for Florida. Wishing you all the best until we meet the next time. And take a look at the video in the upper right-hand corner before you go.